Kobbie Mainoo has told them that he wants to go out and play regular football, so he's asked Manchester United if he'd go out on loan. That ain't going to happen. It's a story that started with Crook breaking the news on Monday that he was exploring his options after being left out of the first 2 games of the season. He did start against Grimsby. They're not going to let him go out on loan because of his wages, and in football terms, it is small. It's massive for everybody else, but for football terms, it is quite small. But hours after selling or agreeing to sell Alejandro Garnacho, would Manchester United be prepared to cash in on another academy graduate?
I think if somebody made a significant offer, then they would consider it. Obviously, contract talks have stalled. No sign that they're going to reach a compromise in terms of what he wants wages-wise and what Manchester United are prepared to pay. I think it's a worrying time when you're talking about an academy graduate, someone who is really part of the fabric of the football club, and you look at Manchester United's history, their DNA is on recruiting players from that academy, giving them minutes in the first team and allowing them to prosper. And this is all on Ruben Amorim and his system. Because
I knew you was going to go down this route.
Well, go on then. You push back. How can you play against Fulham last week?
2 weeks ago against Arsenal, was you in here saying it was a bad system? Yes or no?
It was a better performance against
But
Arsenal.
it wasn't the system's fault.
One swallow doesn't make a summer.
But it wasn't the system's fault. This is what's frustrating me with Man United.
The system was ragged at Fulham. They had Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount as the 2 number 6s. Kobbie Mainoo is number 6.
The point is, 2 weeks ago, that wasn't the problem. Now it's the problem. Do you get what I mean? But so again, talk about Kobbie Mainoo. Would you start him?
Yeah.
You'd start him?
Yeah, I would.
Based on what you saw against Grimsby, you'd start him?
I think he was one of the better players against Grimsby. It wasn't difficult.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, we do this whole thing. I've done a big piece on it this morning for The Sun. We do this thing around Man United where it's talk about past, talk about history. And this is the DNA and how we are, what we are. But we've also, for the last 5 years, complained about mediocrity and people being rewarded for being mediocre. We're now changing it. And it's no, we've got to go back to how it was. I don't actually think Man United fans know what they want.
Well, there's 2 ways of looking at this, Troy, isn't there?
Yeah.
This is a kid who was the poster boy of the United Academy 18 months ago when he helped them win the FA Cup.
Yeah.
He played for the England team.
Played in the final of the European Championships.
But he's 20.
Yeah.
And the path to the Premier League and being a Premier League footballer is not always smooth. It's not always a linear, straight line. This is probably his first real setback since becoming a professional footballer after being played in the first team. So should United be treating him better, or should he be knuckling down and fighting for his place?
Well, there's both. There is both. But I would then, because again, he played in the Euros, which was how long ago now?
A year.
Yeah. So what's he done in the last year?
Didn't have a great season. I'll give you that.
There was time last year you were saying he's flat to deceive and things of that nature. So again, it's this whole thing. So what do you want to do? Give him let's say he wants, I'm making up numbers, I don't know what he wants. Let's say he wants 175 grand a week.
But this him wanting to leave is not about the contract. This is because he wants to be playing because it's a World Cup year.
Of course. But also, play. Man United are terrible at this moment in time. They're terrible. There's no easier time to get in.
But you've got a manager who's so wedded to his system and trying to shoehorn all his...
What's his position?
I think he's one of those number 6s.
He did play on Wednesday night against Grimsby, and he didn't run the show. I mean, he played okay. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't. You didn't sit there and go, he was fantastic. He played a couple of good balls into the box.
Because mentally, I think his head is not in a good place.
No, but hold on, you could also argue, and I'm not having a go at him because I think he's all right and I quite like him, and I would love to see him thrive because I think he's a good young English player. I don't know the kid, so yeah. But also, you could say, well, if you really are desperate to get in and start playing, really go into that match and make your mark.
But it's not even that.
Would you not say that? Is that being hard?
As a player, you don't dictate when you're going to get your chance. You've always got to be ready for your chance. So his chance was against Grimsby. Now, I'd give the last 35, 40 minutes when the rain came and it was mental. Obviously, you was there.
That's crazy.
But before that, you didn't jump off the pitch and you're like, oh, my God, he looks miles better. I looked at Cunha, and again, I thought, fair play, because you're treated like a Prem game. You would try to do things, you were treated it the same way. A lot of those Man United players, sorry to say it, mate, but entitled. And we've had this conversation before. I'm an Amorim fan for what he's trying to do, from talking about culture setting. There's so many players there that now he's still got to get rid of. So Garnacho looks like he's gone. Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, the
Hoyland.
left back, Hoyland now, the goalkeeper now, and then Mainoo's going, oh, I want to go now. It's like everyone wants to jump on the ship. My question to all these players is, where are you going that's better?
Yeah, listen, I've made that argument before. Yeah. However, my question to you is, and listen, I'm an Amorim fan as well. You know, I've backed him on this programme. He's been there 9 months now. Of
course.
There's no obvious sign that this system that you don't like talking about is working. All right, they played well against a poor Arsenal team. Arsenal were poor on the opening day of the season. They looked undercooked. They still lost, ultimately, Manchester United.
I'm with you on that.
The fact that Kobbie Mainoo is a victim of this system, and so is Garnacho to a certain extent, because I know there was a personality clash and a fallout, but really the reason that happened is because he's a winger and Ruben Amorim does not want to play.
You haven't answered where you're going to play
wingers.
Kobbie Mainoo.
He said
where are you going to play?
In the six.
He's a six.
So, but he played there in midweek. So why is he a victim of the system? That's not being a victim of the system, is it? That's being. He was in the team in the sixth position where you asked him to be.
He hasn't been in the team in that position in the Premier League.
That's because Ruben Amorim has decided against it.
That's because he's shoehorning Bruno Fernandes into a position that doesn't get the best out of him because he's so wedded to this system. Does the system work? Do you watch Manchester United?
Yeah, I think it does, but it only works for a period of time. I think when you make changes, your team goes from, let's say, it's 85% down to 55%. There's a massive drop when you have different players in. Now, again, it's completely different, right? So you're saying they're shoehorning Bruno Fernandes in, right? Who do you reckon, if you had to put money on it, we don't know this, we're just speculating. If you had to put money on it, who's the better trainer day to day?
We'd be guessing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We guess. If you had to put money, who would you say is the better trainer?
I think it's unfair because I've not heard any suggestion that Kobbie isn't a good trainer.
I'm not saying that one's better. I'm saying who is the better trainer consistently. What you do as a manager, what you do as a player.
I don't know.
I actually do, but it's fine. The reason they've put Fernandes as captain is why? Because he scores goals on the weekend, or is he fit, available, trained, sets the standard every single day? Fernandes. That's what it is. So people like him get in, and it's difficult, but. This is the problem with young players now. I'm generalising, but especially at Man United, when it's going good, give me all the money, all the rewards, all the contracts.
You keep making this about money. Nobody said he wants to leave.
No, I don't think he is making about money. I think what you are, he's making about attitude of young players. Go back to what you're saying.
Does he want a new contract?
I think he wants rewarding for where he's.
And how does he get rewarded as a player? With a new contract, with new money?
But both can be the same, can't he?
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying
he can want to leave because he's not playing.
All right. So my original point is, these players at Man United get rewarded with financial gains. They get longer term contracts, and they have not performed over the last 4 to 5 years. They have not performed to a standard that is becoming of Man United. Agreed?
Yeah.
Right. Then you have a Marcus Rashford situation where you become one of the highest paid players, you're from the youth team, and now you are the problem with everything. You get rid of that person, and it's like, now it's not working. It's, but even though Garnacho is the problem. I remember specifically sitting here with you, and you saying when he was kicking off and the things he was doing after before the final, and you were saying, that is not how a player should act. He's not a victim of the system. He's a victim of his behaviour.
He's
a victim of his behaviour.
I just worry about the fact that this manager is being allowed to alienate academy products when he's not actually delivering results on the pitch. What happens if results don't get any better?
You're in exactly the same situation.
They'll fire the manager.
Yeah.
And Nacho's already been sold. Kobbie Mainoo may well have left as well.
Do you think that? Okay, so I
think the question is not necessarily about what happens if Amorim gets fired. The question is are you asking Amorim to do a job of turning this football club's culture around? And if the answer to that question is yes, you have to give him a free hand to operate the way he wants to operate. Now, he's already said, I don't want to lose Kobbie Mainoo. I want Kobbie Mainoo to be part of my squad. But I also want Kobbie Mainoo to do this, and this in order to get into the squad. And do you know what? He sees him on a day-to-day basis. You're right. We'd be guessing we don't see him on a day-to-day basis. But I imagine that the reason he's saying that is because he's seen something that he wants to get more out of.
Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of ego. You were there, Sam. I saw a lot of ego. There was a moment in the second half where Ahmad thought he should have got a foul, just turned around and threw his hands in the air. And Brian and Burmo's going to him, no, go again. This is someone who's come through the youth.
Is he not another frustrated player who's a victim of the system? Because
So are you blaming Amorim from Manchester United's ills now? 10 months in.
He started as a 10, but he has been playing as a wing back in the Premier League.
But he started as a 10, and they were But he started as a 10, and they were 2-0 down.
All of the problems are now on the system. Is that what you're saying now? Is that now the focus?
I think if you're asking if there's one major issue stopping Manchester United winning football matches, it's the rigidness of the system.
Not the fact they just don't score any goals.
But is that partly because of the system?
Did they play this system under Eric Ten Hag when they didn't score any goals?
Well, they've addressed that by spending £200 million on new forwards, and they're still not scoring any goals.
Do you think that the Šeško going in now should be hitting the ground running?
Not necessarily.
He's had 2 weeks.
I thought he looked a million miles off the pace, but I'd like to get your view as a number. I think he was number 10 on the list of penalty takers. Well, he had cramp allegedly.
No, but I also think that's again, it's a young man going into a massive club, but is he trying not to step on people's toes? Is he what's going on in his personal life? Is he still in the hotel? There's all these things that people don't remotely think about because you don't care, and that's fair because all you care about is the end product. But he's moved country for the first time. Is he in the hotel? Is he got food? Is he with his family over? There's all these different things.
Okay, so much to talk about, and it seems like it's going to go on for a while because the text machine's gone crazy, so has the phone lines, and we want your say as well. This is an England international, was part of the team that got to the final just a year or so ago. What has happened to lead to this impasse at club and country? It's a club that's famed for promoting talent from the academy, but it looks like after Garnacho's gone, Kobbie Mainoo is thinking about trying to leave as well.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.